No, because I wasn't. Are you there? Uh,
Can you hear me? Jason, can you hear me? Well, welcome to another live stream. We are live from the YoloBox, and I'm see a video just came on my hyperdeck that caught my attention. Anyway, so welcome to the live stream. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Productions Studios, and I'm really excited about tonight. We're going to get out the back glasses and change glasses here. If you did not see last week's live stream, I would suggest that you do, and I hope that you'll watch it. It's a little long, but I wanted to do a heart-to-heart, so if you have not watched that yet, please take some time and do that. Obviously, we have been doing a studio renovation, huge. Lots of things changed, colors, lighting, all kinds of stuff. And the final touch was this sign right here. That's what we're going to be lighting tonight. We have a special guest named Jason Kranitz all the way from Las Vegas. He didn't fly here or drive here. He is actually sitting in his studio. He's in our green room getting ready to come on tonight because we have a great guest feature inside the YoloBox Extreme. But last week I was trying to go from the YoloBox into my ATEM Extreme ISO. Now I'm going tonight from my ATEM Extreme ISO into the YoloBox Extreme, and I'm live streaming from it. And because of that, we have some great features. One of them is I can bring chat on the air. So there is Hank should be on the air here. Oh, let's see. I got to produce the show here. So let's try this again. I apologize. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Hank's in the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. I think I was in the small window because I had the map enabled. Let me go over into the chat screen and let's disable the map to cut down on CPU use. Yeah, I was not actually showing you guys the full screen. I was showing you me and the map, and we won't be using that view anymore. I apologize, but now we should be having the right thing here displayed, and it looks like we have the right screen. So again, hi to Hank, who joined earlier tonight. DJ Ware, Cyber Gizmo is in the house, and let's turn my logo off the air here just for a minute. Based on where these chats are located, Grish is here. We hear the guest live on the stream now. Yeah, so I have him muted now. Still a work in progress. So the guest should be muted, and it should just be me using my ATEM Extreme feeding the YoloBox. I just got to remember that my confidence monitor shows you what I'm sending to the YoloBox, but it doesn't show me what's on the YoloBox. Now, if I hit record here on my hyperdeck, it will pop up here on my other monitor so I can make sure what I have live. So again, tonight we're going to talk about this sign right there. And we've been on a phase 1 renovation in the studio, completely flipped it, changed the colors, got rid of a lot of clutter, changed the desk, put up sound panels in and around the studio. You've got one right there. There's another one right here behind me. 2 more on the other side of the room. If I cut to camera 2, you can see I have one right here and another one right there. Got a new clock, got new shelves. So lots of changes in the studio, and I've added lights up there and lights down here, lights on the window seal right there. I have lights. Let's see, can I show you guys this? I have lights and my ATEM Extreme ISO number 2 back there. Now it's no longer on my desk and it's just for display. So lots of changes in the studio, but it's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying going through all of these transformations, and tonight we're going to talk about phase 1 just a little bit, and then we're going to light the sign But after I have my special guest, Jason Kranitz, who's going to be on the live stream tonight, and we're going to finish saying hi to everybody here. Let's see. Juris Design is here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. You might need sunglasses for all the LEDs. No, I do not need sunglasses. He's in Arizona. That's really cool. Or hello from Spokane, Washington. So, and then hello from Dallas, Texas. And that again was to get things on the map. And one of the things that you can use when you go live from the YoloBox on the YOLO Live site is you can do the chat, you can bring in guests, and you can use the map features. Now, the map feature does take a lot of CPU, and I was kind of busy getting ready for my guests, so I didn't get a chance to get that map on. And I have my intro video playing, so I did a 2-box layout. And again, I've disabled the map now, so it's gone. So in the future, when we go live from the YoloBox Extreme, we'll do a better job of using the map feature. So again, in my journey, I had this idea of doing a renovation of the studio. And so I actually, first time ever, my wife had been using ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT, send a picture of my current studio, current desk, sent a picture of my website, what it looks like, my color schemes, and fed all that in the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT started spitting out pictures. And in one of those pictures, the logo right here was one of them, and it was backlit. It was a 3D sign in the picture, and I thought, man, how would I get a sign that big? And this is almost completely to scale if you go back and look at my earlier video where I showed that ChatGPT image. So I didn't know how I was going to build a sign, so I needed to figure all that out. And anyway, just looking at the chat, making sure I'm not missing anything and the audio is good. So let's look. Yeah, it looks like it's decent. Is it loud enough? Let me know in the chat if it's loud enough, and I would appreciate it. I do have my Insta360 Mic Pro on tonight. I think we're going to mute the main ATEM audio tonight, and I'm just going to talk to Jason in this microphone, and he'll be able to hear me, and you guys will be able to hear me because I'm streaming live from the YoloBox. And when I bring him on and unmute his mic, and I unmute this mic, and I mute the main microphone coming in through my input number 4 on the YoloBox, which is our program out, then we should be good. So thanks, Hank. Sounds to me, according to my friend Hank, is that audio is fine. It hasn't fed in yet, but I can see it right here. So I'm not sure why Hank's, there it is, slowly came up in the YoloBox. So thank you, Hank. So again, Jason Kranitz, who had learned about me from YouTube, and he reached out to me. We started some conversations back and forth. I got a chance to fly to his studio in Las Vegas and get a chance to see his studio and what he does. We had some great conversations both before and there. I got to stay there for a number of days. They were great hosts. They have a beautiful house that overlooks Las Vegas up on the hillside, and it was amazing, beautiful dog, and beautiful time that I had with them. We got a chance to kind of chill, work in his studio as he was completely flipping it, and he took advantage of one of my free 1-hour Zoom consults, and then we started a number of conversations about his studio, and we've kind of become friends through that season. And when I thought, how am I going to get some 3D printed letters? I needed the logo, I needed Life Journey so I could backlight it, and then I needed productions in solid white. And so I reached out to Jason Kranitz and said, hey, would you consider helping me with this 3D sign idea? And so he was so kind as to say yes. And it took him some time because he has other projects, and it was strictly volunteer. And I tried not to blow up his phone, but that was the end of phase one. And so the studio was probably 95% done. As he started on those letters, I had some projects, and that 5% was a lot. One of the things in that 5% was building the sign. Now, he was only going to print the letters for me. I was going to do all the LED lighting, uncut the board, do all of that. And I had no experience whatsoever building LEDs, let alone signs, and very little experience. All I had to do is adapt strips and cut them, do an adapter, and go around the corners. So that was about as complicated as my LED experience. I think Shannon and I, to do the shelves over here, for the characters behind me, we had to do some LED work and to do those lights on the bottom and do some wiring and some soldering, but that was about as complicated as it got. And then building this sign, literally, it was a challenge. In fact, there was a couple times where I was being stretched about as far as I felt like I could be stretched. I had to take a break. And again, I didn't want to put any of that pressure on anybody else. I did ask Shannon for help, and I have a video I'm finalizing now as we light the sign tonight. And so I will be releasing that video. It's about 95% done. I've been building it on my phone and in Adobe for Premiere for phone. And so it should be ready pretty soon. I did kind of some additions for all the work that we did. And just FYI, this sign wasn't anywhere near done on Monday morning. I had 3 or 4 letters wired, I think maybe, and I had to do the rest of, so I started on the Y end to work myself all the way back to the L side of Life Journey Productions. And so actually Life Journey is lit up, and then Productions up there will not light up. But we will light this up with Jason Kranitz on tonight. And that's a little bit of background. And so phase one had painting, had pretty much remodeling, adding sound panels, completely rewiring my desk. I took everything out of the studio. I took the TV down. I even took the curtains down to paint around it. Took all the LEDs that I had down, added a few LEDs that I had back up. But most of the LEDs you see now are new and going with kind of the yellow look, right? The 3000K, 37K, 3700K. And that's kind of the light that we're looking for. And tonight I even have a cob light on me shining on the back of my head. So I finally have a hair light again shooting down on me, and you can see the light on my shoulders, and it's also on my head. So really, other than maybe 1 or 2 things that I haven't really quite decided, I moved those into phase 2. Phase 2 will be sometime late fall, early winter when I'm stuck in the house. I want some projects to do, so I've saved those. So anyway, lots of things done in the studio. Got rid of a chair and got sound panels all behind my desk, and you can see that. Let's see. Let's pick a camera here. Let's see. Skycam, where are you? Raw, yeah, PC. So here's the PC, and you can see the desk. I've added all of these panels. I've added the cob lights up there. This is the Insta360 Link Pro, I think I have on me right now, and it's a little bit overexposed, but it is. This camera is exposed the way I want it, so we can light this up later, and that's a lot of fun. And just so you know, I've got my remote controls, and I can, once I add it to my app, I'll be able to run all of the cob lights, the LED lights, from my phone app, as well as remote controls. And I have a plethora of remote controls. I have one for those lights, one for the lights on the floor on the edge. I have one for the TV lights, which I have off because I don't want to light the sign. And they do provide a little bit of light for productions, which is really cool. And all of that was thought out, and I loved what ChatGPT came up with. And obviously, I fed it all the information. We made moderations, we made changes, and the only thing I haven't done that ChatGPT suggested was a black carpet throw carpet on the floor, but I like the extra light that I get in the studio by having the lighter carpet. So I'm not going to add that, but pretty much everything is exactly like ChatGPT suggested. So anyway, so that's the background. It's been quite a long journey, and it doesn't seem like a lot of things, but tearing the studio down, removing my desk. Actually, half my desk without the L stayed in the studio covered with paper so I could use it as my main table. But everything else was put in Rubbermaid tubs, taken into the garage and in the hallway, and in Shannon's craft room right next door. It's a 3-bedroom house. We're in 1 bedroom, and Shannon has one for crafts, and it has a little guest bed there, and then I have one for the studio. This is also my man cave, also my studio, and I could actually bring in guests into the studio and shoot them on camera in here just by re-angling this camera right here. And I just point that to the chair area and then go sit over there, add microphones, and I can have a guest over there mic'd up, and I can shoot those as well. So tonight I'm recording in the YoloBox Extreme because I'll have everything recorded up here as well. You can see I'm not streaming, but I am recording. So this will give me a program recording of everything that I'm sending to the YoloBox. So you're going to get my camera when I'm talking to Jason, but you won't get that audio. I'll be able to get all of that from the live stream, which I can only, I'm not a member of YouTube, so I can only download a 720p version. So I have the whole show tonight being recorded inside the YoloBox, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So in the weeks to come, I'm going to show in my intro video some clips of the remodel. There'll be a video on my channel. Tonight, when I get off the air, I am uploading my interview with Tony. I fixed all the audio. Tony from Quick Text Solutions was on with me 2 weeks ago, and that was a blast. We talked about what 3D printer I should buy, so that's all been edited. It's done. I just need to do the final render, upload it, and that should be up tonight. I've been working on getting the sign done, so I haven't been able to finish that project. But so again, thank you so much for tuning in live. We are going to dive right into tonight's topic, and that is the sign, the 3D letters, the sign going together. And most of all, we're going to talk to our special guest, Jason Kranitz, who is going to tell us all about how he printed those letters. I have a couple pictures here, so let me put my earbuds in and let me check the chat here real quick. And it looks like everything's silent right now in the chat. So let's get these on. I only wear these when I'm doing interviews. When I have a Zoom consult going on, I just use my computer speakers. But tonight we're going to do this. So let's go into the audio. Sure my mic is working. Check. And here we go. And Jason is in the house. How's it going? Try that again. How's it going, Jason?
It's going great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think we can hear you. Let us know in the chat if you guys can hear Jason. This is Jason Kranitz from Las Vegas, and let's make sure they can hear you first. And let's, guys, let me know that you can hear all that in the chat. And let me do this while we're doing that. There we go. Got some names up there.
Right there. Fanciness.
Okay. Any guys, any info about the audio? Is it good? Go ahead and introduce yourself, Jason, and we'll make sure the audio is fine.
All right. My name is Jason Kranitz. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I do for last, well, since 1982, date myself, I do high-end car audio systems, and I teach in my industry guys on fabrication, all the way to tuning audio systems. And then the last 3 years, I've converted over to making parts and pieces manufacturing for audio systems for Harley Davidsons. And we're about ready to start our new YouTube channel of builds for cars and stuff. So we've been busy remodeling too as well, and we just keep remodeling. That's all we do around here right now.
Yeah, you have called me and texted me and told me a number of times. I mean, you like flipped after I saw the studio, and I actually had you live, and we did a tour. You've even flipped it since then and added in a podcasting area. Are you saying you're flipping it even more?
No, I'm saying I'm lazy and I haven't got that part done yet. I had to move into the lift. We added another studio over the motorcycle lift. So when we're filming, because as you grow and learn everything, and then you go, oh, I should have a camera. I should make it so just all of them, ISO recording just makes it easier in editing. And so I built this really cool contraption over the motorcycle lift. It's on trolleys and everything. And that allows me to film the actual bike installs. So now I can film and narrate at the same time as showing how the systems go in. So basically, one setting of video shooting for a complete bike install, I get 4 different videos out of it now. So it's pretty cool. I just finished
That's awesome.
that up, so.
How many ATEMs do you have now inside your studio? I thought I had a lot. How many do you have?
I have 4, and I have 2 I'm not using because they don't record in ISO. So if anybody wants them, call me.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you have the Major League Fab studio that you're in right now, sitting in, correct?
Yeah, this is the wood shop, the fabrication shop, one of the areas that we're doing here. And I've got a camera system. There's 16 cameras above here that I can switch with a mouse. So we kind of do that in here.
And then the other room, which is also where you have the lift and you do motorcycles and you're talking about doing cars there, and you have some cool equipment in there. That is right on the other side of the wall you're looking at right now, right?
Yeah, it's on the back side of the wall. Yeah, so we have the motorcycle studio where we do the lift in that, and then we have the car lift that we do production for there. So there's a whole nother studio that's there, and then I have what I call a flex studio that's got a couple cameras that's off the side that we could do towards the machines and stuff. That way, when we're doing kind of our training classes and stuff, I can switch between all studios. I should back up a second. Those all feed to the main studio upstairs. So each studio is independent, or it can go to the main studio upstairs. And that way we can switch between all the studios when we're doing courses, and they can be live online.
Wow, that's cool. So you're going to do live training. You used to have your own business selling motorcycle parts, right? Or motorcycles and everything?
Yeah. No, yeah. I still have the business. So we have online. It's vegasHardbags.com. We sell all kinds of packages for audio systems. The core of the stuff that we do, I make adapters and plates and things of that nature as a manufacturer of that now. So we have our own parts. We have 41 different parts that we manufacture right now. And then we pair those with equipment from other manufacturers, and we sell it as a whole system. And then I like to do really in-depth how-to videos for the do-it-yourselfer at home. He can take that knowledge and those kits that we have, and I'm really good at explaining it. Some of the videos are long. Like one of our front-end kits is a 2.5-hour video, but I chapterize it so they can go back and forth. Especially when you're cutting a fairing or something of that nature, to do one of our cutting kits. I've got a great video so they don't get lost and they feel very comfortable doing it. And then along with the templates, I make it so they don't have to be perfect. Things can be off a little bit, but by the time everything goes back in, it still hides the cuts. So
yeah. So how much of that are you fabricating with 3D printing, and how much are you fabricating with your laser? Give us an idea kind of how much of that you're doing, and where did you just return from? Because you're a busy man.
Yeah, I got back, 2 things. I got back from Sturgis, and then 2 days later went to Reno. That's a whole other side project. That could be another story some other day. That's going to be another channel I'm starting, but that's just kind of how life goes. Yeah, we're Sturgis for 2 weeks working out of there. I help run the Diamond Audio factory store, and we sell our parts out of there too. So we do on-site installations and sales there. I would say manufacturing with the 3D printing, it's a large chunk of what we do. I'm going to say it's at least 60% of our parts are manufactured, and there's different filaments. Like we use ABS glass fiber and some carbons. So we're using really high-end filaments, and we do that for the heat, being outdoors, things of that nature. The lasers, primarily, we got a couple products. We got teardown cards, which are reusable cards. I should, if I was smart, a great businessman, I'd have us all out here to show you. But I didn't grab them because I wasn't paying attention.
You and I were both worried about the same thing, being able to talk to each other in our studios this far away.
Exactly. Well, that's why I have the headphones. I couldn't hear the speaker on the computer very loud. So
at least you caught it, and we were able to go live, and everybody can hear you. And I turned my microphone down, so let me know if that's better. Those of you that said my microphone.
Yeah, no, your microphone's fine. You're in one ear. So, anyways, on the fly, I just ran upstairs and grabbed my headphones, and there's always 10 ways to skin a cat, as they say, right? So, besides the lasers, we do the teardown cards. And which is a really cool piece that we make. So I'm kind of proud of it because I do things a lot different than most shops do, and I try to implement in parts I manufacture, and that's what I implement when we do teachings. So one of them is if you tear down like a bike or a car, it doesn't matter. So if you're taking a dash area of a bike around, these teardown cards, you know what? Give me a half second. I'll go grab one. It'll be much easier to explain.
Cool. So I've been in Jason's shop, and when I was there, he had a motorcycle that he was actually doing some high-end audio in there. And Jason's actually kind of one of the gurus in the United States and the world when it comes to audio for cars as well as motorcycles. So, and here you go, he's back.
Yeah. So these are some things we make on the laser, not the 3D printers, but they're teardown cards. And so for this particular bike, tells you what bike it is. And then it gives you the exact hole size to take it off. And it tells you what it is. Like this is a Phillips bit, and this one's a 3/16 Allen. And then when you pull the bolts out, you put them back in the card, right? So then you can take it apart, and you know what tools you need and where those screws are located. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer at home and you've never taken the thing apart, you might not know, but this comes in handy for that. So we make those on the lasers, and then I make a ton of templates. So a lot of the cut-ins, but I'm a big template guy, right? So even like our newest product we have over here, the simple as this, which is our new knuckle.
Right.
What this is when the wire comes out of the bag, you drill 3 holes and mounts in, the wire's got a cover. So it's like a wire cover boot, protects that wire. What I do is I make a template that fits the bag in that area so you can't mess it up, and it gives you a template where to drill the holes and what size. So you just lay that on the part.
I got a template from you that I used to drill all the holes from my letter. Now I had to tape it on my backboard, but man, I tell you, it would have taken me 20 days to do it if I didn't have your drilling template to try to figure out how to measure the back of those letters. So thank you. Your template saved my sign.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, right? So it made, like you said, it made your mounting that sign much easier. So you had it came with an outline, so you kind of knew where the letters went. Yeah. And then the holes in the back to line up were part of the drawing in CAD, and so we were able just to transfer that to some cardboards, thin cardboard, chipboard is what it's called, and you can roll that up, bend it, whatever, put it down. That allows you to lay it out on the side, and you just then pre-drill holes where everything goes, and it's a super fast way of not getting anything crooked either, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah. So fabricating for mainly like in the kits to the cutting and installing of high-end audio, but what else? Is there anything else that you're kind of dabbling with in that realm of car transformation and bike transformation?
Well, we're making mounts and things for adapters for speakers. I have something I'm very proud of. The Harley-Davidson Lowrider ST is a particular motorcycle, comes with a fairing in the front, but there's no audio, there's no space for audio, there's no radio. I've designed, it was almost 4 years ago, a cutting kit on the inner fairing that holds a 6 and a horn tweeter, custom metal amp rack that goes up there. It's a plug and play kit. It brings audio in with a Bluetooth, so it mounts up there. So that's a product that we sell quite a bit of and we're known for. I also make cutting kits on that one, and the street glides and road glides for 6x9 and 8-inch for the back bags. They fire towards the wheel.
Wow.
And we have all kinds of different things. I got adapters to go from the 5x7 to 6x9s and the 14 to 23 CVOs. I mean, we've got, and some of the manufacturers make things like that, but as being a fabricator for all these years in audio, serviceability is one of those huge things. So I look at things differently than somebody else or another bigger manufacturer looks to make something, right? I look at serviceability, what it's going to do. I don't want ugliness with it, and its form and function's got to work, but serviceability is huge with everything that we do.
It's cool. So at Sturgis, you had a booth, and you guys were doing installs right there for people that had bikes and wanted to get sound stuff done, correct?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We're right on Main Street. We're kitty corner from the Main Street. For you guys don't know, it's where there's Lozelle as you come in town. It's a big street called Lozelle, and then Main Street. And basically all the businesses there in this small town, they rent out to everybody else and they leave town. Main Street's the main street. There's bike parking only on the sides and in the center. And it's just nothing but bars and restaurants and things to buy. And it's just big hangout. We ran a whole big building. It used to be a Ford dealership back in the day. So wow. It's only about a 4,000 square foot building, but we actually have a building that we rent out. Which is cool too, because we have a refrigerator and we bring our Blackstone. So if you come by, if you're ever there and you come by and we're cooking, and you're welcome to grab anything out of the fridge and eat. So we do that. But yeah, we do sales of installs of packages for the different makes and models that we carry. And yeah, that's what we do there on site. So everybody can
if you heard that,
get that factory.
You're in Sturgis, you need to go find Jason on Main Street, because it sounds to me like he's got some really good food in the refrigerator, and you'll be able to see those guys work and what they do hands on. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and the food's really, really good. Every year we seem to get somebody. Like 2 years ago, we had John that worked for Diamond, and he's basically a chef. His part-time is he loves to cook, but he's basically a chef. So John, if you see this, he's really, really good. And then Ryan, my partner in crime on that, his son just graduated high school, and he's been a culinary in high school. Cooking's another passion of his. So we brought him in, and yeah, the meals are fantastic. I mean, I eat better out there than I do at home. It's awesome.
Here's a question. Let's just go ahead and take it. This says, will a Hyphonic Zeus be sufficient to drive 615s in series at 1 ohm in my 1991 Honda CRX? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Oh yeah, this is okay. This is a very loaded question, and this just because of they might not know. So the first thing is Hyphonic Zeus. It was I don't know if it's even a current amplifier, but I didn't know back in the day they did have that. So it all depends, right? It's a little education here. It all depends on the RMS value of what the speaker can handle. Not peak power, not this. You always see two things. It's always the lower number. That's what that subwoofer can handle at all times. You want to match that with the amplifier at the RMS power it can do at a certain load, and then you can match the speakers to that. So it just depends on how much that amp can put out and what speakers can handle wattage-wise.
So in reality,
and in a 91 Honda Civic, it will bounce off the back glass and actually load in the car, probably get you somewhere close to about 2.5 to 3 dB more louder just because of the shape of the car itself.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that answers K9 Striker's question. Again, and obviously speakers matter. Like you said, what they're capable of handling. Obviously amplifiers. I know a little bit. You know this. I know a little bit about audio, but not from the inside vehicle section. You are the guy on that. So now I made a phone call to you, but before we talk about the 3D letters, I want to just say this, Jason, you're a perfect example of what my hope was by moving into the studio and doing what I've been doing for 5 or 6 years. I never just intended to have a YouTube channel. I intended to be a platform to meet people and let them reach out to me if they had a question, which you did. And now at least I feel we're friends, which is the end game that I was looking for. Not all clients become friends, but with you and I, it's become a friendship, and that's the only reason I made that phone call to you, because you don't do sign printing. You have 3D printers, but I knew you'd know how. So how did that feel for you, going from me visiting your studio and helping you with the install to us kind of becoming friends in Las Vegas when I took that trip there? Was that do you feel the same way? Put you on the spot?
Yeah, Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I felt we were friends before Las Vegas. We got along very well. I mean, most people don't know we as student teacher, it was about a year. When I contacted Keith, I said I'm not just one down with a few questions. I had no idea what I wanted to studio. I bought some few pieces and then looked at what I wanted to do and gave me the education, and I learned, and then it just grew and try to figure out where we're at. My number one problem is video editing, right? It's just no time. I'm sitting on 6.3 terabytes now of video I got to edit. So that's my next bird. But yes, when you came to Vegas, obviously our friendship blossomed even more. We had a great time. And then, it was really, I was very happy when you called to ask me to see if you get some help on that sign for sure, because I knew that if you didn't have the right person, it could really frustrate you, or they were just going to build you the sign from scratch. I know it's very, very important. You wanted to be hands-on with that, but I wanted to make sure I gave you the proper things and the proper tools to make that life much easier so you could concentrate on the other things with the sign.
Yeah, and you did. And the cool thing about it was it was like teacher-student reversed. So I remember the phone call and you go, hey, just let me explain to you what you need. And then you asked me the size of the Cobb LEDs, and took over. I sent you the basic letters, and you then took that and went all the way in and sliced it and did the extrusions that I needed to wrap LEDs. So talk about that real quickly. Just give us kind of an overview of why a one-dimensional file I sent you had to be converted because of LED backlighting.
Yeah, that's not a problem. So you have a 2D drawing, and now that we have to do 3D, so we're doing what we call the Z-axis. So we're actually adding things off the back from the initial drawing, and then creating those mounting points off the back. And we had to shrink that in, and a lot of that was, and if you remember our conversations, I think you were getting a little confused at one point, maybe a little frustrated because I was trying to explain. You got to sync those LEDs. Yes, you got to sync those LEDs in far enough so you don't see the LED. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the big letters big enough to really put them in where we want them, so it just glows around it, right? You're limited by the space above the TV.
Yeah, well, I wanted to stay to the same size Cobbs, so that's on me, not on you. I could have gone to some smaller LEDs, but I decided that it's up there. You're not going to see it on camera. If I'm standing across from it, I can see some LEDs, but thank you for allowing me to do it my way and still help me.
Well, everything's a compromise, right? So, but if you remember our first one, you wanted it when we first talked about it. You just wanted it so the LEDs would be almost flush. Like it was, I think it was, if I remember right, it was like an 1/8 inch in, right?
Yeah.
I was like, we have to have big overhang for that. So, it was awesome, and I'm glad you reached out to me because I've done so much things, not necessarily signs, but we've done LEDs in cars and view windows and things of that nature, and things that we build. From clear back in the day, we used to use real neon tubing, and I don't like to see the lights. So that was one of those things that you entrusted me to understand your project, and this is really big for your room. Actually, the sign's a big focal point for your room. And so it was really cool that you asked for that, and I wanted to make sure that we did it so it would really enhance what you had. And I thought it was awesome that you wanted to put it together. That's fun for me. But like I said before, I wanted to make sure that I could make you as successful as possible by giving you, like, for example, the layout template, and then convincing you got to go a little bit bigger. It's one of those things, spatial awareness, when you go and you just do a measuring, you forget that you had all that space. That might be just a peak of a letter sticking out a little bit more.
I had to guess at what the ChatGPT drawing was, because it was just, it was the same angle. So I was seeing it at an angle. So I had to kind of convert that, and I tried to figure out what the size would be. In reality, my size was too small compared to what ChatGPT sent me. So you actually got the sign to right about where it should have been. And it was a lot easier to put the LEDs on that you made things larger. So now, how did you get into 3D printing originally, and how many 3D printers do you have? And I think I have a slide ready whenever you want it.
There's a horrible pictures I sent you today. I almost forgot about it. So it's dirty. We were running production today. I got into 3D printing because it's just one of those things. I've had lasers, and we've been teaching laser courses and how to draw and 2D CAD since 2019. I got into 3D printing. I actually bought my first 3D printer like 3 years ago, and it sat in a box in my shop, and I never opened it. But I really got into it about 1.5 years ago. And then I started doing production stuff with it. And, you know, they take time to print. And the really neat part about these type of machines is if you're doing production manufacturing, once it's going and it's making money, adding a second or third or fourth machine, like because I have 4 machines now, is really no big deal. This year for Sturgis, we actually had the machine behind me. It's not even on the rack with the rest of them. I just wanted to be able to get production done faster so I wasn't stressed out and then shipping it out. So that's what's really cool about 3D printing. It's very affordable, especially, you know, first of all, you have hobby and they can do a ton of things for you. But if you start to get manufacturing and selling, maybe start an Etsy store or a Shopify store and you make some parts and pieces and sell it, as it grows, it's very easy to scale because it's not a huge investment. Like my big laser out there, you know, the big lasers, that's $24,000. That's a lot different than the
Is this the laser you sent me this picture? That's the laser,
yes,
right?
That's the laser with one of the 3D printers next to it. Yeah, and it's full of dirt and dust, and I was cutting things today. So
yeah, did you send me a dirty picture?
I did. Look at all that dirt on my machine. It's embarrassing.
I can't believe I'm actually showing this on the air. What about this? This is I see
that's a rack where 2 of my machines live, and there's another that kind of part, the white part sticking out, and that silver play on the bottom. That's another laser. That's our Galvo laser. We use that for a lot of metal engraving. I do acrylic engraving with that. So that's right there. That whole area is kind of getting rebuilt again, just like everything else. I mean, I think you just stay stagnant, then it's not a very good workflow. So I'm always constantly looking and changing and making things better.
So you have how many 3D printers now? 4 or 5?
I have 4 3D printers and 3 laser machines.
Yeah. So when you were printing my letters, I know you were printing other stuff. So how much did you have going on during that week, including my letters? And also, the other thing I was going to ask you is how long did it total take you print time to print Life's Journey Productions, the big logo, which came in 2 pieces because that's the size of your bed, and then the productions? How long did that take?
You know, I have it written down somewhere too, and I should have had it for you, but I didn't know you would ask that question. That's a very good question. I should come better prepared for interviews. If I had willing to guess, it's got to be somewhere. I mean, I can kind of guess too. It's probably somewhere around 18 to 20 hours worth of print time.
Yeah.
But you don't really have to do anything. Once you hit print, it goes. During that time, I was running production for Sturgis, so I had all 4 printers and all 3 lasers going, manning all of them, pulling parts, putting new parts in between the time frames while it's working. I'm over on the Galvo because that's a 3 to 5 second thing, and you have to move parts constantly. So it was just really production at that time.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, because I know that that was probably the least likely week that you should have been working on the letters, and it says something about you and how you would serve your customers. And I kind of saw myself more as the friend asking you for help than the customer. Though I did tell you I'd pay for materials and pay for all of that. You didn't want me to do that, but we are doing that. And so, but the funny thing about that is once I saw the other stuff you were doing, I actually kind of felt bad, but didn't say anything until tonight.
So, yeah, no, you don't have to, because it just runs in production. The cool thing about 3D printers, like my lasers, once they're running, I can't leave the area. In case something happens, you have a fire. I've only had 1 fire. I used to think, like, how do people have fires? Well, I've figured out how you get a fire in a laser machine. 3D printers are really good because they're so sophisticated with cameras, and they'll shut off, and it's not necessarily going to burn to the ground. So during that time, when I'm doing big production runs and like the bigger prints, I got several of the mounts that I have are like 10 to 12 hours, and you need 2 of them per a component for a bike, for example, and then you got to put all the threaded inserts and make all the other things with it. But I'll run prints overnight. So a lot of times I'll finish up the day, and then I'll start prints that will run overnight in the nighttime hours. So when I get up, I pull them out and I start my next production run. So putting your parts in the mix was not that big of a deal because, like I said, things run. I run my printers on big production times. If it's, I'll run basically like a swing shift, right? So and so everybody knows I have a pretty big shop here. I'm very proud of it, but it's at my house, which makes this super nice. So I'll run a normal day, and then usually after dinner, I'll do my swing shift. I'll put them in there. I do my free things and activities, which is a lot of time is in here or tinker around the studios because that's what I love to do. And then right before I go to bed, I'll pull those out and then pull the new ones in. So it's kind of like I run like a 3 kind of shift. So it's really not that big of a deal because once they're printing, there's nothing else to do. You just kind of let them do their magic.
So, but you added another printer. I don't think you had that. You told me it was coming. What was the newest printer that you added?
It's that guy right there. It's the Bamboo H2C. It's got the biggest beds. It's a single head, but it does have 4. You can do up to 2 of them, the MS Pros, which you could do then. You can do, well, I can do 4 colors on that plus 1 on the side, but I don't ever do that many. But I just need it for the largest bed for the products that I'm producing. Right now, so that's why I did that. Also, I do a lot of that ABS carbon fiber and ABS glass fiber prints.
Right.
So I have 2 machines, which are the biggest ones, always hooked to that because you got the nozzles and everything else. Which the new machines, the H, like I have an H2S and then I have the H2C out there. They're easy to change out the tips. My X1 carbons, the older ones, which are great printers, but that's a little bit more cumbersome to do that. So, yeah, I have a hard time just replacing those.
So last week or 2 weeks ago, I believe, is when Tony was on and we talked 3D printer, and I had narrowed it down to the P2S or the X2D or the H2C. And he chose the X2D for me because I kind of like the idea of being able to swap, have the extra, the jet, what I can't even think of what it's called right now, print head to be able to do support material that would be easily to pull off. Why did you pick, I mean, what were the #1 things that you got when you went away from the carbon, which you still have those, and I know they don't make it anymore. What are the biggest changes that you saw, and why did you go with bamboo originally?
I went with the bamboo after talking to a few people. It's funny because some people think that they caught, it depends what brand, but they might be a little bit more money. I think the slicer software is very, very easy to use. Very, very easy to use. I think the machines are well built. It's the CAM software is built inside of it, so you don't have to change a bunch of settings. It does it naturally, which is really good. You can change those settings, but for the most part, it looks at it. I love the camera systems in it, and it looks at everything. I had a very good friend of mine that I went back east and help him set up his shop, and he had another brand, and it's a very nice printer, but he was like, I compared it, had all the same specs, and as I set up his machine, it's not the same. It's not as polished. I went with the X1 carbons in the beginning because that was their flagship at the time.
Right.
And then I started printing and I started doing production. It was literally like a week later I bought another one. So it's funny because I had the X1 carbon for about a year and a half or a year or so in my garage, and I never opened it up. And the minute I start printing, I'm like, I need to go faster. So I got a second one. That was for Sturgis last year. And then that still wasn't enough, and I wanted to get the bigger pieces. So that's why I went to H2C. I did the dual print heads, and that's where it's nice. We have the support in one. Now the H2S right here, I believe is that one's called. Yep, H2S. Even though it's got one head, the bed's the largest. So a lot of the things I'm printing, I'm only doing single color.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the bigger print bed's better for me, so I'm not having to stitch parts together, especially when I'm adding speakers that are mounting onto it, like a 6x9 or an 8-inch. I want to be able to have that bigger bed for that.
Yeah, and that's nice because the single head printers get to use the whole bed, and then when you add the second head, you're always losing a little bit because it won't reach. I don't know why they can't just make a bigger printer and be able to print on the whole bed, but I understand that that's just going to drive the price up. So X1 carbon brand new cost compared to the new H2C and H2S. Do you have an idea kind of what the difference was in the price between the carbons and?
Well, when I first bought my carbon, I'm trying to remember, but I bought like a bunch of accessories with it, but I'm going to say it was like $1,200. And then basically the H2C or the single was, I don't remember when I paid because I bought some other accessories. I always buy extra plates and stuff, but I think it was like $14.99 or something. Right. So those prices go down. The P2, if I remember the model number, that's basically the new version of the Carbon X1, and that's at $6.99, $5.99, something around there. Yeah. So they changed instantly. If you're ever into it and you're thinking about it, wait till Black Friday week. They do
Yeah,
a really good
that's
deals on
me.
those.
I'm holding out till Black Friday, but I
Yes.
pretty well. So Tony recommended the X2D because I wanted to have the best bang for my buck. I really would, if I had no limits on money, I would get the H2C. But I really want to get started in 3D printing, and he recommended the X2D because I wanted to be able to separate some of the things I'm going to build with not having to have to break it and then sand it. I wanted to make that, get some filament that would do that second print nozzle. So what would you think, knowing me, where would you recommend I start with what you know about me?
Well, I would say the H2D is it's a platform. If I didn't have the carbons, I would just keep doing the H2Ds. I know the one with the change out print head seems cool, but once you start printing and utilizing, I don't do like 10 color multi prints, right? Basically what's going to do is just save time on the print. So if it's a hobby, then it might not be that necessary. It can save on waste, but the waste might seem like a lot of waste, but when it comes to dollar cents, it's really not a ton of waste. If that makes sense. With the little snot balls, as I call them, that come out, the Dagos.
They call them poop trays, but you call them snot balls.
I have it back there. I got a poop tray right back there.
That's classic. Everybody who 3D prints has to start a new language. So that's not the phrase I would be using for that little clean out filament. But someone named it what they named it. I like your name. Actually even better. So my wife would get grossed out if I said that's the snot tray. So
the snot tray. Yeah. So I think the H2D is an all-round, and they're not that much more than like the PS2s. So it just depends what you have for room. I would say if you plan on printing a lot, then you're going to want the bigger bed.
Well, I'm probably going to go with the X2D, which is the same size as the smaller P models. But because I don't have a lot of room, and I think I'm going to keep it here in the studio in phase 2, I'm going to do a fold-out table behind the chairs in my studio. So basically the fold-out table, I'm not going to change cameras right now, but the fold-out table would be to my right, which is right over here. And I can fold that up when I want to do something here in the studio. And if I'm not doing any printing, then I could put that printer away and fold it up. If we move, Shannon and I have been talking about the possibility now that we don't have any stuck reason to be in this house, we've been actually considering possibly selling the house. I don't know what's going on with my TV right now, but it's turning on and off. So, okay, last thing I want to ask you before we light the sign behind me. Have you built any signs for your particular place?
No. I've paid some graphics people to do some signs for me, but no, I haven't printed one. I probably will here shortly. We're in the midst of redoing the main studio upstairs, so that'll probably happen for sure.
Cool. Well, first of all, thank you so much. This sign's got your fingerprints on it, and I appreciate you helping me. It kind of closes this season of transformation of phase 1, and so I've kind of decided. I told Shannon, I wanted everything else done so I could work on the sign, and when we light the sign, it's officially phase 1 is done. I can finish the video that I've been working on. I even have a couple pieces of video footage that you sent me that I want to add to that, because I said, hey, send me pictures of the letters printing. So I'm going to put that in the video, and hopefully that will be up here on the channel pretty soon. So anybody ask any questions for Jason before we light the sign? I know that we did get a K9 Striker question, and I'll put this back up just because he said thank you.
And I'm excited to see the sign getting lit, because I haven't seen it lit yet. So that everybody gets the same time as me. You've been holding out on me.
Yeah, I have been holding
excited.
out. Yeah, in fact, the video I'm going to have on my channel is going to be like that. You think at the very end I'm lighting the sign, but it says go to tonight's live stream to see it lit. Because I feel like my subscribers and the people that watch this live, they deserve to see it, and everybody else should come. I'm going to put a chapter marker so they can just go to the point where you and I officially light the sign together. And I wish there was some switch. I love your big power switch that you have in your upstairs studio. I wish I had a power switch just to hit Tonight Live,
Yeah.
but I literally have 2 remote controls, and that Cobb set actually comes with this larger remote control. They're wireless, so you can actually run them from an app, but these are the 2 controls. You can change the color temperature. Now, I had a little wiring issue in the sign, so it only will do most of it in the yellow, but it works. We're going to fire it up right here. I turned the TV off because I didn't want it showing off the sign, so if no one has a question for Jason before we do this, then we're going to officially light the sign. I don't have a drum roll. I don't have any music to play. We're just going to push. We're going to push the sign on and keep it on for every live stream here going forward. So tonight, August 25th, because of Jason's help, my wife's help, Shannon, who actually came in to put some oil on my head, just speaking love on my head while I was freaking out trying to get this thing wired, and actually she came in and helped. She's really good. She's wired her dollhouse, and anyway, so she would team up with me to help me out. So any questions for Jason in the chat tonight before we light the sign? Just looking. I know there's a little delay. You got updates popping up. I don't know what's going on with the TV behind me. But okay, I don't see any questions. So let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2. Should I cut to that channel, or let's leave Jason on here? Oh,
Nice.
there it is. It is lit up. I know it's a little bit cropped in this layout. Let's go to full screen for a minute and take this graphic off the air. I didn't realize that was still up there. And I'll take these down just for a minute. So there is the sign, and it's lit, and it is beautiful, and I really appreciate Jason's help to make this possible. And so there's a better view. You guys can see the sign. You can see, and that's not quite that color. It's a little bit light. That's the YoloCam S3 that I'm showing everybody right now. But I wanted to have me on the air, Jason on the air, and the sign on the air. So any feedback about the job I did, Jason?
It looks great. It definitely looks great. So
yeah, too bad the TV
I'm
is
excited for
freaking
it.
out.
Yeah, it happens.
And then let's do this. What's this one? We'll turn the TV on. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like with the TV on, and I can turn those lights down just a little bit. Oops, not that sign. We want to leave that one on. What did I do? Did I break it? No, there we go.
Yeah.
I have them as dim as I can make them right now. They'll go brighter, but too bright, it just kind of begins to blow the sign out, but there we go. So again, thank you, Jason, so much for making this dream that I had. Now, it's all ChatGPT's fault, because that's where if I fell in love with the sign and decided I had to have it, and you made it possible. So I appreciate you very much.
Not a problem. It was an honor to do it. I'm glad to have it be a part of your studio. So
any final thoughts or anything you want to share about your channel? I know, how can they? I have the link in the description, but how can they find you?
Yeah, you can go to, it's at the channel's Vegas Hard Bags. That's our motorcycle channel where we do all the videos there. We have some funny videos. We have a lot of how-to videos, some product videos. Major League Fab channel is probably going to be changing. So that one's on a pause real quick, and that's a whole nother reason why. And then we're going to have another channel that'll be launching. My goal is by the end of September, called And Then It Got Weird. It's kind of about my life journey of doing some crazy things out there. It's kind of like a First Amendment thing, but it's kind of challenging the government a little bit off of some weird things that have happened with a contractors board here. And I've been filming it for over a year now, all the meetings and things that happen. So it's kind of it's going to be that series on that channel is going to be it's going to be a docu-series. So
Cool.
it's my journey to change government. I've already changed government. I'm very proud of that, and it's continuing to go. And we want to make sure that bad things don't happen to the citizens. It's not a good thing. So.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. We've talked a little bit about that. It'll be cool to get up with that. You made changes in my world, so you made the sign easier. I have another friend. When I go to Las Vegas, I have a really cool family that I can go visit and go to lunch with. I can show up maybe at some trade shows. And if I had a Harley, I might even drive the Sturgis so I could try some of this great food that you have at your Sturgis event.
Yes. Definitely.
Well,
always
guys,
welcome, my friend.
Yeah, guys, please say thank you to Jason tonight for being live. He's just one of the many guests we're going to have this year. We've already had 2. We're going to have a lot more going into 2027. And Jason, thank you so much tonight for joining us. And have a great night, man.
Thank you, Keith. No problem. Hey, I just want to say one thing so everybody kind of understands. Obviously, we've built a friendship, but I really want to thank you. I went from not knowing hardly anything about filming in studio to where I feel like I'm pretty good at it now. And it's really kind of really sparked me to, especially with all the creative stuff I do with fabrication and building things out of thin air. Video just is a natural thing that allows me to be super creative, and it's another medium that I'm very excited that I'm doing. I'm very proud of it, and it's something that can live on past my years. So I really appreciate you offering that the classes and paid mentorship, and I just want to tell anybody, if you ever thought about it, don't hesitate to do it. It'll change your life and how you deal with it. So thank you, Keith.
Wow, thank you for the commercial. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Jason, so much.
All right.
So, guys, make sure you subscribe to his channel and make sure you go over and watch some of Jason's videos and hit the like button and just check out some of the things he's doing. I'm telling you, it's fascinating. I like to watch his videos, so go ahead and do that. So, good night, Jason. It's great to have had you on the live stream.
Bye, guys. Enjoy.
Okay, I should be back. We should be in the studio. I should be able to take these out and we should be able to chat just a little bit. I appreciate you guys. I know this is a change up. I've had lots and lots of live streams here on this channel where I did not have a guest on. And I did do a live stream with Jason at one point, and some of you may have saw that live stream. My computer's timing out, my TV's timing out, not sure what's going on in the studio. Maybe the power draw is just too much for all of this electronics I have in the studio, but I'm loving life. Again, I shared last week in my heart to heart, and a lot of people won't tune in if it's not about a certain type product or it's not about what I normally talk about on Tuesday nights. They don't watch it, but those of you that did watch it, you know my heart. I have had a number of journeys in my life. I turned 65 in June this year, and you look at all of those years from the time I was a teenager. I learned how to ride a unicycle. I did ventriloquism. I did magic when I was a kid. I was into art and drawing. I was on the diving team. I would dive off of 1 meter boards and do all the tricks and compete. And that was one part of my life. Then I went into work and started doing management and met Shannon in the midst of that, started having kids. And then we went on the journey that I shared with last week. It took me all the way till 2000, kind of went through a physical burnout and came out of that great, didn't have any major side effects, but your pendulum kind of swings when you go through something like that. And so I was kind of on the hard side of my pendulum. And so I just felt like I needed to kind of have a season where I wasn't up front and didn't have all the responsibilities until I could kind of even out my pendulum. And it took a lot longer than I thought it was. So I could tell you that over the last number of years, that was 2000, now it's 2026, I watched my pendulum kind of swing a little bit like this. And I feel like really in 2026, mostly it's settled. It's still moving a little bit, I've noticed, but I really feel like I'm coming into a season where I can grab all of those things and use them. And I've tried to use all of the skill sets over the years to help my clients when I was selling RVs, when I was managing back in the days at both U-Haul and Kmart, when I was pastoring for a number of years, running large groups of team. 90% of them were volunteers. And really all they get is they do things that they're passionate about. And it could be anything from ushering to parking cars, to running PowerPoint or running sound, all kinds of security. There's all kinds of things that they get to do. And if they're not passionate about it, and if you don't give them compliments, and if you don't encourage them, and if you don't appreciate them, then they just get burnt out. And my burnout was mainly because I was doing too much. And I'm notorious for committing to something and then getting it done. And this last year and a half has kind of been difficult because I'll want to launch a video and then something in my world comes up and I don't get it up in time. And I'll even announce them live. And it really generally bothers me. Shannon says, hey, everybody can not always keep every promise all the time, but I try not to make promises I can't keep, which is one of my mantras. And so where I'm at right now is I needed to renovate the studio. I feel like we're coming into a new season. And so let me just declare the sign is a sign of a new season. And Jason's a perfect example. You meet people through whatever you do or wherever you go, and you have an opportunity to have a positive influence. If it's a paid gig, if it's helping a friend, or if it's someone's friend you meet, you have a choice of how you engage that relationship. And if you don't value those moments, if you don't see them as an opportunity, I mean, come on. When Jason asked me to go to Las Vegas, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Now, I'm not into a lot of the Las Vegas lifestyle, but to go there and see Jason and be in his home and meet his wife and his dog and hang out with him in the shop and see his studio, which I am very passionate about, and then drive through Las Vegas and run errands, have lunch together, hear some incredible stories of what his life has looked like. I have this incredible appreciation and thankfulness. And to have the signature of some of these people, I mean, his signature is right there. I joke around about this camera right here, PC, is the Tony Cam. I kind of delegated this as Tony Cam. And then also, if I cut to this camera, the Batman and Robin, let's see if I can point at it. Right there, that was sent to me from Tony from Quick Tech Solutions, who was my guest 2 weeks ago. And so to have this journey, have their fingerprints on it, to me is amazing. It gives me great joy. You can see the look on my face. I'm excited about it. To have Jason take the time and come and be a part of tonight's live stream, to me, is absolutely amazing. And to know that every time I look at the sign and I come into this new season, I didn't have to go it alone. I had Shannon's help. I also had Jason's help. And again, those three people got me through this sign project, which was by far the hardest part of this renovation. Shannon helped me paint. She helped me do different things, but most of it I did, tearing my studio apart, putting it back together. And again, doing that sign, I really needed the encouragement. I really needed the help. I had Shannon tell me yesterday it was like an 8-hour day working on the sign, and then 2 more hours cleaning up, getting it ready, painting over the bolts that go into my wall, and making sure it would light today. All day prep to get ready to going live from both the ATEM Extreme into the YoloBox Extreme. And then making sure everything was ready for Jason to be a guest, which does take a little bit more work, but the YoloBox makes it so much easier. So any questions or comments that you guys want to make tonight, so I can pop those up on the screen. And I think Jason was recommending either the H2D or the X2D, depending on how much money I want to spend. And if I want 2 nozzles, those 2 Bamboo printers have 2 nozzles. He also said Bamboo just was a great solution and easy for him. And again, I'm not just saying bamboo is, I concur with Tony. I'm not just a bamboo fanboy. I don't even have one. I just did my research, and those are the printers that caught my attention. I didn't even have the H2D on my list because I would probably get the X2D just to start out and see if I really want 2 nozzles. And then I would move up to either the H2C or the H2D, or maybe the H2S. It just depends on what I print. But these were pretty big prints, and this is 2 pieces, which you'll see in the video when I release it. And so bolts on the wall together, I taped the cracks and then LED'd inside and outside. And the only thing that I would do differently now that I look back is I would have done I have an arrow in this. Let's see if I can give you a better picture of that from this angle. I have a arrow inside the light bulb, and there is no like rim around the arrow, so, or just inside the arrow, so I can put LED lights there to kind of light that hole. But again, I didn't really ask Jason for that. I thought the LEDs that are inside facing in would light it up really well, but again, you can see a little light bleeding through the arrow. You can really see a good accent on the light bulb bottom, which is really cool. And again, I can make it a bit brighter, I believe. There you go. Now it's a bit brighter. And if I make it full bright, you know, it really pops. And the lights, the productions is not lit up. That's just getting light from the sign, the Life's Journey letters, and the light bulb. And that gives a real pop to productions. And it's dark in between the productions because there's no light bleeding inside the C or inside the O or inside the D. So they are darker, 2 O's and crazy. Now inside the O, I had to do letters on the outside and the inside. Inside the R, I had to do letters right there, inside and outside. I'm pointing at this other view. Let me change to that. So inside and outside, the R and the O right there. And also had to go inside and outside of the light bulb. And anyway, I'm very excited. It turned out better than I thought I would be capable of having it turn out. And so I really owe it to Shannon a big thank you. And I owe it to Jason a big thank you. Can't believe I still have Jason's name on the screen, but that's how it is. Still learning how to use the YoloBox Extreme. I'm so used to the ATEM, but I wanted to use it again. It has 3 great features. It has the map feature when you go live on YoloBox, and that's not all. I love so much about it. It'll stream 4K, which I've done here in the channel. But you have the map feature, which kind of started in the Aaron Parecki world and has gotten over to YOLO Live. And then you have the guest feature, which you can bring up to 5 guests on the air, which I'm looking forward to having a panel one of these nights. And then you have the chat feature. So when you do go live and you have chat enabled, then you can just simply click on these and they pop up. Of course, they're not where they need to be. And I can change that. But for right now, I have my logo on the air. So I have some fine tuning I need to do in order to really use this effectively. But a shout out to YOLO Live, who did send me the YOLO box, and they've allowed me to keep it so far. I am going to be doing more videos from it. I used it 2 weeks ago with Tony and brought him as a guest, and that night I was using the ATEM to stream and trying to use the YOLO box to bring in guests. I did a private live stream so Tony could join, but this time I wanted to use the ATEM Extreme ISO into the YoloBox Extreme. And again, the YoloBox Extreme is right here on my desk. For those of you that don't know anything about them, let's go to camera 1. So here it is, and the guest feature is right here, and Jason was right in that guest feature, and then I can go down here and make these layouts. So if I wanted to make a layout with a guest, I could just go up here and pick one. So let's say I wanted to have him big and me in portrait, then I would just say, okay, this would be me right here. And then this would be box 3, and this would be box 2. I click done. And so there's the layout. And then I can put a background in there. So I can add this background by hitting plus, hit done, and then add it. So there you go. I don't know why it needed a third box. So Jason would be on the right, and then I would be on the left. Let's change this. Let's reselect, and then let's do this one and this one. There you go. And so if I was to change cameras, go back to me now, you would see me in this box, and then I can bring that on the air. I click done, and then I can bring that on the air by tapping on it. It's right here now, and I can bring it on the air. And if I hit plus, you can see I can bring in videos, I can bring in images, I can bring in PDFs, I can bring in live streams. So if someone else is using a YoloBox, I could bring in a live stream, RTMP, RTSP, NDI, web page, and then the invite guest feature, which is right there. If I want to go to it and start using it, I can also get to it right down here. So absolutely love the opportunity to have the YoloBox Extreme. And again, a shout out to Yo Live if you're listening, for sending that out to me to use. I've had it now for 3.5 months, I think. And I've done a number of streams and planning on doing some videos. They have done pretty much all the features I think they're going to do for a while, but they do updates periodically, and they have fine-tuned all of those features. They've fine-tuned audio. They've added some great features in audio. And the only thing that I would say I like about the Rodecaster Video is that it has XLR inputs and incredible preamps. But the preamps inside the YoloBox are better than the preamps inside the ATEMs. And that's the ATEM Mini, that's the ATEM Mini Pro, the Extreme ISO. When you get into the newer ATEM Mini Extreme G2, you're going to get regular XLR inputs, you get MADI, and you get better preamps inside that device, which makes it worth the over $2,000 price tag. And the Extreme by YoloBox is a $2,000 device as well. So I wanted to do this before we go tonight. Let me find this here somewhere. It's here, I thought. There we go. So let me do me and a laptop real quick. This is Jason's webpage, Vegas Hardbags. The link is in the description, so go over there and subscribe and give him a shout out, watch some of his videos. You look at his videos, here are some of those installs that he has. He's done some interviews on this channel. He's got a lot more videos that need to be popped up here, but he definitely knows his stuff when it comes to audio and fabrication. He's done some high profile vehicles for some famous people. So anyway, it is an absolute honor to have a new friend like that from Las Vegas in Jason. So, okay. So let's go in here and let's just see. So Jason's lower third is still on the screen. Yeah, thank you. I figured that out, but thank you, Hank. My confidence monitor showing my ATEM. Over on my left is the YoloBox Extreme program. So I have to glance over there, and I wasn't looking, so I apologize. Gary, the HDMI A/B switch, or what brand? The HDMI A/B switch, or what brand? If you're asking me what switches I use, I don't know if I have one in my drawer. Let me look. I don't currently have those in there. Just double checking. I cleaned out my drawer when I did my renovation. And let me jump up and see if I have a switch over here. Let me do this. I'll just carry this microphone. I have a bunch of these AB switches. I bought this one. This is a an off-brand. It's supposed to do AK. I wanted to switch between my Apple TV and my ATEM, and it didn't work very well. It doesn't seem to have a name brand on it, but it's a 2 in and 1 out with a switch. But these are the ones that I've been using mostly. And let me see if I can do the overhead camera here. So there you go. I'm not sure this is gonna focus. There we go. That is the brand. So that's what I had the most luck with. And I use this so you can go 1 in and 2 out. So if you just want to switch between 2 devices, going to 1 output, like if you have a confidence monitor and I wanted to go between my ATEM and my YoloBox, if I had taken the time to plug one of these in, then I could have sent the YoloBox to my confidence monitor over there, but I didn't. I just used the HyperDeck. Again, I have the YoloBox going into the HyperDeck because that's how I did it 2 weeks ago. And so all I have to do is hit the record button on my HyperDeck and it shows me the input. And then that input actually comes out of the HyperDeck and goes on my BenQ monitor. So I could put that YoloBox output full screen on a 32-inch monitor, but I want to see the recording, which isn't on the TV behind me anymore, and that's the multi-view. And I also want to see the software, and I have all that on my BenQ monitor over here. So again, I have that one. This is the same brand. This is a Tekoli, and it's covered up. Let me uncover it. These have worked really well for me too. And then I also use Ori for larger switches or, duplicators. So 1 in and 4 out. But this is the other brand, and it's called TECHOLE. Hopefully that's a question that was directed towards those. And if not, I apologize for spending all that time talking about it. And you are welcome. So, okay. So any feedback, any input? Do you guys like the sign? Do you not like the sign? Is it too big? Is it too small? I would love to hear your thoughts. And again, we have another angle that we can look at it like that. Now it is a little bit more yellow than that, and I can adjust the YoloCam S3, but I haven't. I should put me on the screen. Too much time to figure that out. I could do this right here and put me in the screen at the same time. I do not have a guest, and that's what it looks like when no one's logged in to the guest feature. And again, one of these weeks, we're going to do more guests, and I have some other ideas. A lot of these people I've met through my consulting business here in the studio, and if you want to take advantage of that 1 hour that Jason was talking about, you can always go to my site. The link is in the description, and I have a page in there that lets you subscribe. So you go to lifejourneyproductions.com, you go to my contact page, you can see it's yellow lit up. And then if you scroll down, here's the contact page. So this is how you get to start emailing me. And that's what Jason did. He filled this out. He says, hey, my name's Jason. And he told me a little bit about himself, what he was looking for, what kind of help. And I was all in. 1 hour on Zoom, free to just help him out. And then anytime someone wants to know, how do I get more hours, then I share my programs. And I have very affordable programs because my end game is to connect with people. At the same time, to help Shannon with the bills, because that's one of the streams of income. She's a full-time midwife. She's slowing down to halftime. And my daughter's speeding up, who is going to be taking her test very soon. So again, if you want to help support the channel, you can do it by doing super chats. You can do it by subscribing. You can do it by liking the videos. But if you want to get connected with me for a free hour, then fill out the form on the bottom under the notes, say free Zoom consult. Make sure I have a name, an email, and a basic description of what you need help with, because if I don't have the answers, it's very difficult to help someone, and I'll be the first to tell you I don't know how to help you. Now, Blackmagic Design came out with some new devices. I just wanted to say this real quick. If you haven't seen this, we'll go to their site. We'll go back to me and my laptop. And they have a lot of new Ultra Mini devices. So these are used by a lot of people. You have the Ultra Studio Mini. All of these, I think, are new. So you have Ultra Studio Mini Recorder 12G. You have an Ultra Studio Mini Monitor 12G. You have an Ultra Studio Mini Replay 12G. And again, they're changing their ecosystem. They're doing 2110. They're adding devices like the new ATEM Extreme ISO replaces the old ATEM Extreme ISO. The new one is the G2. It can actually bring in remote guests through NDI, I believe. Now, I've never done it. I had one client that had one. We never tested that. He has no interest to mess with it, so I don't have access to a G2. But these are to get the ecosystem working together, because they've done so many new devices, and these are a great opportunity. So the Ultra Studio Mini Replay 12G, these are things that we could talk more about. Let me know if you're interested. But they're Thunderbolt. So if you have a laptop that has a Thunderbolt port, I do. My laptop has Thunderbolt 4. I use it to run a big hub, so I could bring in HDMI out. I can do a lot of things. I have a display port out. That's how I get things to my BenQ monitor. I have lots of SD drives plugged into it. That's how I can have fast editing. I have usually one from a client I'm working with plugged in all the time. And I also have another port on my BenQ monitor where I have another client's SD drive plugged in. And they send them to me. I use them for all of their work. And then if they no longer want my involvement, everything that I've done for them is already on the drive. Now, if I designed a video on Adobe, not everything will be on there, but all of the files that we've done, all the documents I've sent them would be on that. So again, this is kind of ability to use Thunderbolt. There's a Thunderbolt port on the new ATEM Extreme ISO G2. We'll show you that real quick, just for those of you that may not be aware of this device. You can see right now they have replaced the ATEM Extreme ISO with the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2. This has MADI. This has a whole new interface. It's a lot higher tech. It's got way nicer buttons. You can see it right here. It's got a transition bar. It has 10 buttons instead of 8. And you can actually program a couple of these buttons, which people have asked for a long time. So one of it could be fill and key, or just fill, because it actually has Thunderbolt. So you can send from DaVinci Resolve fill and key, like I send from my HyperDeck. And you can also send a video feed back. So for replay, it can do recording and then sending it back. So you have one input into your computer, DaVinci Resolve, and then 2 out. So it's great for doing graphics. It's great for doing replay. And these new devices are raising the game as well. And that's why they're so important. Again, so some of these devices actually do have A and B for fill and key. I can't remember which one it is, but we would have to go through all of these, and maybe one of these nights we'll do that. You have the Mini Player 10G, which is the web presenter. This is the Ultra Studio Mini Recorder right here. If you are if you are a manufacturer interested in using Ultra Studio Minis, then you can contact the OEM team. The first step is to download the desktop video SDK. So that works with their SDK software. And again, here they all are. You got new, and new. So Ultra Studio Express Monitor 3G, Ultra Studio Express Recorder 3G. Then you have the Ultra Studio Mini Recorder 12G, the Ultra Studio Mini Monitor 12G, and the Ultra Studio Mini Replay 12G. Again, this is just to spread out and add more features. So right when we don't realize it, Blackmagic Design is still trying to be cutting edge. They're still coming out with new devices. And it's just things that I don't normally use. I don't know if it's something that we should be talking about here on the channel, but I just wanted to let you know that Blackmagic Design has been rolling out some new devices. And again, I have the Rodecaster video in here. We want to do more videos on it because I haven't even scratched the surface of that device. Even though I use it every live stream, I feed my Rodecaster Pro 2 USB-C out into the Rodecaster video, and that's the audio you're hearing right now, going from my Rodecaster Pro 2 into my Rodecaster video, and then the Rodecaster video output is sending the audio in a input on my ATEM Extreme ISO. Now, why would I do that? Because that bypasses the little 3.5 preamps. Instead of adapting my right and left output of my Rodecaster Pro 2, and then taking that down to a 3.5 jack, which most of those have hum in them, and then plugging that into the back of the ATEM Extreme ISO, and then having the issue with the preamps, I'm bringing audio in through the Rodecaster. So we'll show you this real quick. So we are going to do two things here. First of all, we are going to look at this. So here is the audio. You can see feeding into USB 4 right here. This is me talking. This is my Rodecaster Pro 2. USB-C into USB 4 input on the Rodecaster video. That is sending audio to my Rodecaster. And then what I'm doing, let's go down here and bring this over so you can see it. And then I have audio coming in right here. Let's go full screen into my Rodecaster videos coming into input number 1. That means I can switch to any of the inputs in my Rodecaster video, and I am bringing in inputs from my Rodecaster video. So it gives me all the ATEM inputs. I give up 2. I have Rodecaster video out, put HDMI 1 in HDMI 1 of the Extreme, and I have the HDMI output number 2 of the Rodecaster video coming into the ATEM input number 2, and then I can switch. So everything in the Rodecaster video can come into channel 1 and 2. So I could bring in my Osbot Tiny 3 camera. I could also bring in whatever else I have plugged into the Rodecaster video. So I used to do that with an ATEM Extreme ISO plugged in to my main ATEM, but now I'm using the Rodecaster video. It lets me go to an NDI input. So right now, if I wanted to open up the NDI app, which is called Rodecaster Road Capture, and I open this app up, once it's open, you can see there's an image right there, and then I can choose this input, NDI input on my Rodecaster video to be one of the outputs, and then I could bring it into the live stream, and that's how I use my remote camera. So the Rodecaster video is giving me NDI. I could also bring in just an audio guest if I didn't want to bring a video guest. So combining the Rodecaster video, combining the YoloBox Extreme, which will also bring in NDI and bring in guests. So I could do the same NDI trick with the YoloBox. Actually, let's do it right now. Let's go to NDI. Let's do Road Capture input. So there you go. You guys are now seeing the NDI input from the Rodecaster Capture app. And so let's just go ahead and grab this microphone. And I'll walk you over and give you a close-up of the sign. So there is the big letter. You can see the LEDs going around the outside and the inside. And then there is life, and you can see up close, you can see some of the work in there. And then the productions letters. And there's a straight-on view of the sign. That is a sign to new things coming. And so super excited about that and able to bring NDI in from the YoloBox Extreme. and then change out of that. So, so there's tricks from the YoloBox Extreme. There's tricks from the Rodecaster Video, and I'm not saying that you should go out and buy all those devices. I'm just telling you this channel is about learning those things. So if I have a client and they have specific needs, if I don't have those devices, if I don't work with them and play with them and combine them and try things, then I won't be able to help my clients when they ask me those questions. And so learning NDI, this year I'm going to be diving into SRT before January to grasp it. Another way of sending video over network, and SRT is a little bit more reliable. And so I played a little bit with SRT, but I want to do even more. But again, the YoloBox will let you bring in NDI, and so will the Rodecaster Video. They both will do webcams as well, but the cool thing about the YoloBox is if you have a YoloCam S3 or a YoloCam S7, you can adjust the settings, the color temperature, all of that, crop it, all of that inside the YoloBox Extreme, which is really, really cool. Now you have to have their cameras, and this is an example right here. This is their camera, and so I can change the settings of that camera. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go to this image right here. Let's see, let's try that again. Let's go to this image. And so if I wanted to change the, let's make these larger. Where's my little window? I don't see it right now. So let's go ahead and tap on the little icon to change that. I can go into camera settings. So there you go. I have camera settings. I can zoom in and out, give you a wider shot of that device. Go back out. I guess you guys have to see that. So here it is on the screen. And you can see that left window right here is where I would change the settings. So if I click on this, try this again, try that again, go back and click on the one I need to click on here. Camera settings. What did I do here? That is the one I want. I don't want to click on this. I want to just change it. Careful. Okay, let's try this again. Camera settings. There you go. I have the ability to do presets, color presets. I have the ability to do all these different colors, sharpness, contrast, saturation, vignetting. If I take this vignette off, it gets really vignetty or vignetting. And then now it's off. It brightens up the edges. I can go into focus. So I have autofocus face. I have autofocus center, all of this manual focus. Then I can go to anti-flicker, 50 or 60 hertz. I can go to exposure type, manual, or go up and down exposure. And then I can go into white balance. I have all the different white balance, daylight, all of that stuff. I can change the offsets. I can tap on here to do a color balance. Sorry for the overexposed shot. Then I can go here and change all these colors. You can see it's changing. I can do a preset as well. And then let me get out of that and go here. Then I can set the resolution. I have it set to 4K right now, 30 frames per second. I can upgrade the firmware. I can learn about the camera, all inside this app. And then again, I have the zoom function as well. So now I could zoom in or zoom out on the sign. And then I could get out of that, change to that, and there you go. You have the sign in front of you. And then I have the ability to add these graphics on them or not, and I can make them slide in and change the way those graphics perform. That's an update. They added all the animations. There's lots of cool things that you can do with this device if you want to take advantage of all that. And I just tap on these overlays. I can add an overlay. Here's the two pictures that Jason gave me, and I just loaded those into a disk and then added an overlay. I can add an overlay right here, different types of graphics. I can add an image, and that's how I added Jason's image. I could do the S7 as an image right there and then go ahead and bring that on the air. So now I have the S7 as an overlay, Where is it? Thought I added the S7 as an overlay. Let me try that again. Image, continue. Now get back here, done. And let me add the S7 on the screen. So there you go. And I could change where that is as well. So lots of things that I can do with this. And let's go back to me and my laptop. So audio coming in from the Rodecaster into the ATEM. And then when I was on the call with Jason, I was using my Insta360 Mic Pro into the back of the YoloBox Extreme, and that gave him really good quality audio. And then I switched back to the program audio from my ATEM once that was done. So again, there's all kinds of crazy ways that you can put all these things together, and I'm doing all that not only to just for the channel to do something crazy live, but to help my clients when they reach out to me. And again, we'll see what this next season holds. I don't have a lot of clients right now, but I did have plenty to do this renovation. And I have been doing more remote speaking and driving places and spending more time with my local friends because I haven't been as busy in the studio. And both Shannon and I are both semi-retired. Neither one of us are fully retired. She's going to continue to do bursts, and I'm going to continue to do consulting and installs, as well as other things as they come, including some public speaking, which has been a part of my journey. Who knows? I might even do some ventriloquism. We'll have to see when the year progresses into 2027. But phase one of the studio is done, and the sign is lit. Life Journey Productions, and there you go. Life Journey Productions up close, and with the camera settings in the YoloBox, it can even be up closer. So there you go. 2x zoom. And thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for joining me in tonight's live stream. Let's just double check in the chat. Any comments, any feedback? Do you like the sign? Let's see. Oh, David, good to have you in the chat tonight. Thank you for joining me. I should go to this image right here so we don't have my logo behind the chat. I need to move that. So again, I should know how to do this. More settings. Yeah, I don't see where I go in here. What about settings wheel? Nope. Somewhere in here you can actually move those graphics around. I can't tap on them. So again, it is what it is until it isn't. So yeah, guest feature is really cool. Terrible start over. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure there's something there that I'm missing. So, okay. I'm not sure I need that logo anymore because I now have a logo on the screen all the time. So probably not going to have a logo down here anymore. It's probably going to be there. If I did live stream from a different angle, which I do have my other camera angle, which is right here. When I do change to this angle, I have all this stuff in my background, and I would probably then add that logo. But until then, probably going to just stick with the logo above me all lit up in my live streams, and hopefully we'll figure out why the TV died tonight, because it was showing you guys the multi-view, which I've always liked having the multi-view behind me. As we wrap up tonight, I just have a Samsung TV, and I have fed my PC and my ATEM to that monitor, so I can send multi-view up there. And again, I have an A/B switch that's right over here to the next to my desk. So if I go in and turn the TV on, what I used to have behind me is it has this picture frame, and I can just hit enter, and it will bring that up, and you guys will be used to seeing these kind of things behind me, even though right now, there we go. And so I can hit it again and choose what I want back there. So most of the time I would do something like this and have that behind me on my Samsung TV. Again, it's a smart TV, smarter than me in some respects, but it couldn't stay running tonight. And then if I hit the home button and I go down to the bottom to the sources, and I click on PC, right now I'm feeding it the multi-view, and that's what I have up there. If I wanted my PC up there, I just hit the switch. And again, it is one of those switches that I alluded to earlier when I thought that was the question that was being asked. So again, renovation complete, phase 1. Phase 2, before we wrap up tonight, is going to be my production desk. When I want to have a piece of tech on a desk all hooked up, I want to be able to leave the studio desk the way it is and be able to put other devices over there and then roll my chair over. So I'll lose this chair right here, and I will then be able to roll over to that desk. It's just right on the other side of this PC, and I'll have a camera, which I have this camera right now, which I've been playing with, which is one of my sky cams, and it's facing me right now, but I can move this camera very simply just by rotating it. So let's rotate it. Oh, the other way. Let's rotate it over. So this would be my tech desk angle. Using a webcam, who knows, it might be eventually a higher end camera, and then I could zoom in and be on camera right in front of what you're seeing right there. And this is part of the reason. Now this camera will be over a little bit further than it is right now, but that gives you an idea of what is capable if I decide to do that. And again, that is what we lovingly call the Tony Cam. So because of his influence here on the channel, a guest 2 weeks ago, and now the sign is a collaboration with Jason Kranitz and Keith Bennett and Shannon Bennett right here in the studio. So phase 2, figure out that production desk, figure out the camera angles. That's a winter project, but phase 1 is done. A sign of things to come, and I'm really excited to see what those things might be. Okay, Gary, start over on the sign. It was an easy build. No, it was not easy at all. Love the completed sign. Thank you. Again, and the chat plays back, so please put your comments in there. Other people are going to want to know what your opinion was. They can watch the chat back, and I would really appreciate to get your feedback. And again, that's it for tonight. I don't want to be on too late tonight because I have been going nonstop all day yesterday for about 12 or 13 hours, and then again today all day to get things fired up and ready for the live stream. So I appreciate you guys joining me live. Again, tonight I hope to upload that interview with Tony that I did 2 weeks ago without the audio issues and editing out some of the fumbling with mics and his wireless mic. I took all of that stuff out, condensed it, fixed the audio so it can upload to my channel, and I can do due diligence for that interview with Tony from Quick Tech Solutions and do it justice that it deserves. So that'll be up on my channel. Hope you guys will watch that. It'll be a way better experience than my double Darth Vader audio from 2 weeks ago. Again, and you know, sometimes you fail live, but you learn how to do things live and you solve problems live, and that's an incredible experience. So okay, so any other comments before we go, or is it time for me to say goodnight? I better turn this back to play. So my outro will play tonight, and we will get ready to roll the outro tonight, and just want to make sure we get all the comments up. So, yeah, so there we go. Gary says, great show, Keith. Night, everyone. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you being on with me live tonight, and as well as all of you. I think I've said hi to everybody that was in the chat. Cyber Gizmo, Juris Design. Oh, Tony popped in. It's great to have you, Tony. Just joined. The sign looks absolutely amazing. Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate it. Sorry I missed your chat earlier. Oh, we have JM Films Tech. Audio is fine. I missed you. Thank you for being here tonight. Sorry about that. I apologize. What a bad host I am. And let's see. I think I got everybody else that was in the chat. So again, I will try to, the next time we do live from the YoloBox Extreme, I'll try to get that map up about 15 minutes before we go live so you guys can all say hello from where you're at around the world, and my viewers can see where you're at. And we'll leave that on so everybody else can see where everybody else is. And again, if you say hello from Las Vegas, then it's going to zoom into Las Vegas. If you say somewhere in China, it should zoom into China. It's a world map, and that's a feature available in the YoloBox Extreme as well. Now, in the YoloBox Extreme, I wanted to show you this before we say goodnight. I meant to say that. Oh, I can't. Sorry. You have this pull down screen to give you all the data. Here's my USB cam. And I think you guys are seeing that, I hope. Let's see, are you? Let me do this. PC is live. No, it should be my downward camera, which is number 1, sorry. So you have this pull down menu on here as well. I can't go back and show you, but if I went back, it would stop the live stream. But you have a choice to go live directly to a particular channel, and you'd lose 3 of those features if you do that. The 3 features that you will lose, number 2 here. The 3 features that you will lose are the guest feature, because it works on YOLO Live's site. And basically what you do is you do everything inside the YOLO box, and then it creates a live stream, and then you have to link it. So you have to have it linked to your channel. It could go to Facebook, a number of different places. And you link it like I link it to YouTube. And then you have a little icon on the YoloBox Extreme to click Go Live. Once you go live, then YoloBox Extreme will start sending a signal, and then it automatically starts. I've got to figure out how to stop that so that I could actually have it go live, chat with people, have the chat working. But if you hit that go live button, it says, do you want to go live before your scheduled time? And I always schedule those lives for 4 o'clock. And then I go live from my ATEM 7 minutes early to roll my intro. But with the YoloBox, as soon as you hit go live, it goes live. It starts sending the feed to YouTube. Where with ATEM, I go live, it sends the picture to YouTube, but then I have to hit the go live button. You can set that to auto. I don't have it set to auto, so I get to choose when YouTube starts broadcasting what my ATEM is sending. But with the YoloBox Extreme, you hit go live. It asks you, do you want to go live? Do you want to start early? And I click yes, and then it goes about 8 seconds, gets the signal going to YouTube. And then as soon as the signal's in YouTube, bang, I'm live. So no music, just a still image or me in the studio. And tonight, if you go back and watch the live stream, you'll actually hear Jason and I making sure the microphones are working. And someone put that in the text earlier. And I'll wrap with this. I apologize. But Juris Design said, can hear Jason. So pretty incredible on what you can do with this device. So I appreciate YOLO Live allowing me the opportunity to use it. Maybe one day they're going to reach out to me and say, we want it back, and I will have to send it back, but hopefully that never happens. So again, I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. Thank you so much for joining me in tonight's live stream. I hope you guys have an amazing night. Sorry, my microphone, I've been talking to you all this time, is sitting on my desk. Now I'm back on my S7B. And again, it's not a flawless live stream, but I had a great time. I hope you guys did as well. And I hope to see you commenting on the video when I upload that new version of Tony and my conversation on what 3D printer I should buy. And then I have my studio phase 1 renovation video that should be up sometime next week. And then we'll continue rolling out more videos on Tuesday night and peppering in some guests as we go. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And thank you so much for your comments and the nice things that you guys have said about my sign. Let's just make sure. And then that last comment, Gary says, good night. So with that, peace out and good night all. Wait for it.